want to come and skate on our team. Help us out. So what do you say? Where's the race?
Devil's backbone. Devil's backbone.
What is up, world? It's your boy Sway from MTV News, and we are back with a special non-soccer episode of Knifey Lion Radio. I know some of you are in shock right now, maybe throwing a fit of rage, but just relax for a minute while I ease you into a magical edition of KLR. But of course, first, I am Jonah. As always, I'm telling you to follow Knifey Lion Radio on Twitter for all the latest news. Scarf pre-orders begin in a few days. Folks, they're going to change your life. You'll have to get them while they're hot, and they'll always be hot. I'm joined by a reformed indoor instigator named Zach.
So styling? What's styling?
Whoa. Nick and Chad are off doing Nick and Chad things, and this many episodes into the podcast, you can probably figure out what those are. Anyways, as you've noticed, after staring at a blank screen from 7 to 9 p.m. Saturday, FCC was off this weekend. They'll rejoin our lives Wednesday. And while this was an eventful week off the field for our newly engaged goalies, I thought it was necessary to honor the legacy of something even more near and dear to Cincinnati's collective hearts. That's right, folks. I'm talking about the 1993 feature film Airborne. September will be the 25th anniversary, wow, we're old, of this masterpiece. So what better time than now? Really, there is no better time.
Yeah, September maybe, but let's go for
I don't,
it.
That just happened to be. I didn't know that. I looked up the IMDb because I was already doing this podcast, and how about that? 25 years. And there's also no soccer going on right now. Definitely don't have the World Cup on in the background. But if you need a little soccer break, something not soccer, something closer to your heart, which is rollerblading, this is the podcast for it. I hope you haven't already crashed your car with excitement. Airborne, if you're somehow unaware, is a fish out of water story about a California kid spending 6 months in Cincinnati. The backdrop to all of this? Yep. Rollerblading. If you're too young to remember, the early 90s were deep into blading. Early X Games, etc., etc. So for this special episode, we're going to go through the entire movie using the Wikipedia plot breakdown, our own memories, and lots of audio clips from the movie. Why? Why, you ask? Well, fuck you, Brad Rusin. We're just doing it to pay tribute to one of our favorite films, and one that puts Cincy on the map for the very few people who saw this in theaters well before FCC was even a thought in someone's mind. Zach, my question for you before we get into it, I already know you're a big fan, but can you give me a guesstimate on how many times you think you might have seen Airborne?
My guess would be somewhere between 25 and 35 times.
It's a fair number. It actually seems low, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, it might be low. I mean, we used to put it on, not we as in me and you, but my crew back in the day, pretty often to get ourselves amped up, put on our
before a sesh,
our lightning skates, and go jump some stairs.
I was just mentioning to someone the other day that every time I'm in a thrift store, I do check the sizes on rollerblades just in case. I'm ready for the comeback. This movie would come on just a random Saturday, seemingly every couple weeks on a TBS or something like that. And it's one of those movies, if it's on, you have to watch the whole thing. So we're going to get through this. Mind you, it's a pretty short movie, not even 90 minutes, but every minute is perfection. We'll break down the plot and interject when necessary. So let's kick it off with the Airborne recap. Right from the jump. Mitchell Guzin, our protagonist, main character, is a teenager from California who loves to surf and rollerblade. His zoologist parents are given the opportunity for grant work in Australia for 6 months. Oh, Mitchell's excited. Mitchell's eager to accompany his parents to the surf-friendly shores of the South Pacific, but...
Well, if I'm not going to Australia.
Well, that's just it, Mitchell. You see, we've got a surprise for you. Tell them what it is, Kate.
You get to go stay with your Uncle Louie and Aunt Irene in Cincinnati.
They have a boy just your age, Cousin Wiley.
They've been dying to see you for so long.
And it's only for 6 months. I think it'll be good for you, son. An education, a chance to broaden your horizons, see how other people live.
It'll be fun, honey. Trust us.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Look at it as an adventure.
Yeah, cut to him landing in Cincinnati, or what's supposed to be Cincinnati. Snow covered. He's outside.
Can't you hear Harrison Delbridge screaming, "No, Mitchell, no! Don't do it."
Yeah, shots fired. He has to finish his school year in Cincinnati. My first question's off the jump. Why couldn't he stay with his a family friend in California, where he's lived his whole life? Then taking him out of school in the middle of a school year in his junior or senior year also seems like a poor solution. Zach, did that ever strike you, or were you too young to care about the fact that his parents made this horrible decision for him?
I mean, when it first came out, I was definitely too young to care. I didn't think about that at all. But then, as the years went on and I continued to watch it, I started thinking, like, well, there's also school in Australia. That's another option. Stay with his parents. Yeah,
Just
there's
boomerang practice all day.
There's a lot of different options that they didn't really explore. But
yeah, but luckily for our sakes, he ends up in Cincinnati. Yeah, he arrives in the middle of a winter storm to a blue-collar Midwestern city, quickly coming to the realization that this is far from the free-spirited beach atmosphere that he's been accustomed to.
Oh, is this my Mitchell? It can't be. You're just too grown up. Give me a big hug. Big hug. Yes. Oh.
Welcome to Cincinnati, young fella.
Yeah, that's the first taste of his his aunt and uncle, I guess, who are from another planet, from his own mother.
yeah, they have the Wisconsin accent,
Yeah.
Minnesota accent, whatever in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we'll get to that shortly. But he lets him know from the jump what he's all
Too
about.
many places around here to use that, son.
I don't go anywhere without my stick. It's my American Express card. Without it, I'm naked.
Yeah, he's talking about his surfboard, in case you didn't know.
I think that's when she gives him the okay.
To add to his disillusion, he meets his cousin Wiley, played by a young Seth Green, who at first glance is an awkward teenager and whose parents' lifestyle and demeanor, this is Wikipedia talking, though warm and hospitable, is a bit old-fashioned.
Don't let the old lady snow you, man. I mean, this guy's been around the block more than a few times. If you know what I mean? You catch my drift, right? You picking up what I'm putting down? I'm with you all the way, bro. Cool?
Yeah, so that's him giving a tour of his basement room.
Seth Green, best known for the Cha-Ching Rallies commercials.
Yeah, whatever happened to him. Yeah, Wiley gives Mitchell a tour of his room and lets him know what all of us party animals already know.
You won't be disappointed, man. I mean, Cincinnati's a party town. If anybody can show you a good time here, the Wiley man can.
No joke. The creators of this movie, this is me talking, seem to think that Cincinnati is the same as Minnesota. Wiley's parents have a thick northern accent, when in reality Cincinnati has more hillbillies than Margie's from Fargo. My question, why didn't they just pick this in a place that actually plays hockey? We can get to that more, but obviously Cincinnati gave them some kind of tax break or something, but and most people around the country probably just assume, who didn't know any better, like, I guess that's probably how parents talk in Cincinnati. And it was better for it. Oh, goal. We're not watching a game. Columbia.
Columbia, I will say, they have been ripping Poland apart. Really shredding them to pieces. But let's get back to
Finally get a goal. Anyways, so Mitchell, right off the jump, starts his first day of school at Central High. Very original school name, by the way. And before making it to the classroom, Mitchell accidentally bumps into Snake, a short Hispanic student with slick-backed hair who looks closer to 26 than 17. And,
yeah, he's been held back.
And Wiley has to give Mitchell the what's what.
What the hell is wrong with you? It was Snake, man. Voted most likely to eat his young. I can't believe we're still alive. You better watch your step if you know what's good for you, because he might not be so nice next time, okay? Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, so just remember that's Snake. When we talk about Snake later, like, is that the same Snake? Yeah, it's the same
Yes,
Snake.
Mitchell, the California boy, is he's not really used to the Hispanic gangsters.
Yeah, there's no gang members in California. So then Mitchell and Wiley hit up the first class of the day, which is speech class.
Good morning, class. Good morning, Mr. Colley. This is my cousin Mitchell. He's from California.
Oh, yeah. Already off to a good start. And then comes one of my favorite, it's a little scene, but my favorite scene of the movie. Mitchell first enters the class, throws up the peace sign, giving us our first take of a young Jack Black.
Peace, brother. Peace.
We're pleased to meet you, Mr. Goosen.
Peace, brother, peace. I mean, What else do you need? It was either first or second Jack Black movie ever, and he has all his a lot of his mannerisms that you'll appreciate later in life already down.
Yeah, he looks about the same. I don't think he's really aged since
He just got
93.
a little fatter. Yeah, and he's got a Hispanic name also. As Wikipedia says, Mitchell's first day at school is met with the typical fish out of water obstacles as he immediately grows to the disfavor and jealousy of the gritty hockey players who chastise Mitchell for his easy Maharishi philosophy in California appearance. Immediately, he gets a dirty look from Jack, main antagonist of the movie. Jack is a chiseled, handsome lad. But let's get to it.
Yeah, can I just say...
Please do.
Jack is definitely more Melrose Place than he is 90210. He looks about 30, 33 or something like that.
I was curious how old he was. Apparently, Jack was 22 during filming. He was a grizzled 22. Jack is wearing, if you've never seen it, he's wearing a sleeveless flannel with a t-shirt underneath. And it is a solid look. My trivia for this section was the classroom scenes were filmed at West High. So, you know, if you or someone you love went to West High, you're more than Pete Rose. You had Airborne filmed inside. Mitchell walks in. The women are already puddling at the sight of Mitchell. Like, it's disturbing. They're ready to jump his bones. Lots of thick collared sweaters, purples and such. Proto my so-called life wear. One of the girls pushes a book off her desk, and when Mitchell picks up the book as he walks by, she calls him a real live gentleman and glares over at Jack, who is her boyfriend, making Jack even more pissed. Like, what do you expect him to not pick up the fucking book?
Who would have thought?
Yeah, Jack looks like he's ready to murder someone. Then everyone introduces themselves in class. It's the middle of winter. I found that strange, but...
Molly Ryan's my name. I have a 3.8 GPA. I'm the treasurer of Amnesty International, and someday I will be a very successful attorney.
we never
My name
hear
is
from
Snake.
Molly again.
I don't like speech. I never even signed up for it. And I ain't got no hobbies. Unless you call collecting knives and putting tattoos across the foreheads of guys I don't like hobbies. And I have a 1.1 GPA.
That's
One
better
of
than mine.
Yappuccino's love slave.
Jose Augusto Rafael de la Parra. Everyone just calls me Augie,
Yeah,
though.
that's Jack Black.
I really like to sleep, and I like Nintendo.
Okay, well, you all know me. I'm the Wiley Man. Who? Wiley Messer. You know me. We've talked. We've met. We've spoken. Passed each other in the halls. You used to beat me up, but I forgive you. Anyway, if you really want to know who Wiley Metzner is, who I really am, I'm a hockey man. I live to play hockey. I play hockey to live. That's all I do. I mean, hockey is my life. I've got on hockey underwear right now. I have a hockey toothbrush. My dad drives a Zamboni. He gave me a puck.
That's my favorite part.
What about the new kid, Mr. Colley?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's his turn. Okay, man.
Yeah, before Mitchell goes, I just want to say that Seth Green line always struck me. My dad drives a Zamboni. He gave me a puck. Who gives a shit? Is that what he said? Like, he gave me a puck?
He gave me a puck. Cyclones puck.
Yeah, like I said, we'll never hear from Molly Ryan again, but she does get to introduce herself and her GPA. Snake, just really a walking stereotype, unfortunately. But he'll break the mold soon enough. I also want to shout out whoever yells "Who?" at Wiley. One of my favorite lines in the movie.
Yeah, that reminds me. Sorry, I know we got a long way to go.
It's not that long a movie, don't worry.
It always stood out for me. I went to Walnut Hills for a little while till they threw me out. We used to have a music festival every year, and I remember all the music teachers and art teachers had a band, and they played, and they were like, "Oh, this is an old Paul McCartney song," and then someone yells, "Who?" from the back. I was like, "Oh man, that's hilarious." It's so Airborne.
That's what life was like, folks. If you were born in 2008, you wouldn't know. There's twins in the class who are wearing Cyclones jersey, good Cyclones jerseys, before they changed the logo. Because again, Cincinnati is Hockey Town, USA, if you didn't know. And then it's time for Mitchell to introduce himself.
Mitchell Guzin at your service. I'm not from around here. Hey. What to tell? Well, I don't have any stories. Don't know what I want to be when I grow up. Don't care. Just as long as I live near the beach and don't have to wear a tie. Then I'll be styling.
Styling? What? What? Styling?
Let me tell you what styling is. The perfect session. A-frame wave, ground swell, spitting out salt water in your face, doing a little lip action move, a 360 without a bounce. I call it a liquid Drano, wannabe Bullwinkle. I tell you no lie, my friends. It's a consciousness, right?
At this point, the women are literally licking their lips.
I like the, move over Al Pacino. Oh, I should mention, speaking of Al Pacino, the woman earlier, if you didn't hear what she said she wanted to be like Al Pacino's love slave, I think. And everyone's just like, woo, that's normal. It's not normal at all. But the acting choice that Shane McDermott, who plays Mitchell, makes when he says, I tell you no lie. There's no way it was written like that on the page. Oh. But he just goes for it in his own weird way.
This next part, I love that the teacher just lets the class get totally out of control.
Something I found out, which blew my mind, the teacher in speech class is also the guy who wrote the screenplay.
Oh, shit.
And is the only movie he ever wrote. After that sweet talk, Jack gets up for his intro, but he doesn't really introduce himself. He just kind of talks about whatever he wants to talk about.
You don't really think surfing is a sport, do you? It's not.
It's not.
It's badminton, man. It's checkers.
It's pretty
It's
hard.
getting a suntan.
A lot
You
of
want to try a
physicality.
real sport? Why don't you try hockey? Matter of fact, man, we got a game today against the Preps.
Against the preps.
Right. We've never beaten the Preps. And I'm not graduating in May a loser. We're nobody's doormat. We're gonna do it today. We're gonna kick the Preps' butt!
Rosenblatt has a broken nose, and
Yeah.
he's wearing a face mask. It looks like a real piece of work. So.
I couldn't put in the audio of Rosenblatt because he doesn't really say anything. He just gets up there and makes a dumb face. Rosenblatt. Yeah.
I
but-
assume he's taking a puck. He's taking a puck to the nose.
Not to get like that dude racial on this, but like even the African American women are like so fucking down with hockey. Like it's crazy. Like, I bet even Molly Ryan and her GPA was like, yeah, the Preps! Get the Preps! My question for Zach, because we never really learn it, who are the Preps? Do you have a theory?
I just assume they're from
Cincinnati Christian?
No, one of the prep schools. They could be from fucking Walnut Hills is a college prep school, but yeah.
They're the Cobra Kai with less backstory, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just the kids with money. These are the public school kids, rough and tumble.
Yeah, we'll see that in the rollerblade gear.
This is DCFC, the preps are FCC.
All day. Yeah, so we never really truly learned, but Wikipedia says, with an upcoming hockey game against the rival Preps, led by the aggressive and arrogant Blaine, we'll get a lot more Blaine later, Wiley and subsequently Mitchell are asked to fill in for two students who are caught putting a laxative into one of their teacher's coffee, in parentheses, never shown in the film. Yeah, there was no time for that. But Snake pops up in the hallway, too.
Who are we gonna get? The figure skating squad? How about the mixed pairs team?
Yeah, I'll play.
That's Snake.
All right, man, you're in. Cool.
Then Augie tries to do the math. That part's good.
I think I missed that, but yeah. So Snake offers to play hockey because it's Cincinnati, and everyone secretly loves hockey. He'll end up being pretty good though. But how are they just now finding out that Snake plays hockey? Clearly, they're in desperate need for everyone they can get. This is not the first day of school. I'm going to remind you. First day back from winter break, maybe.
And they're seniors.
Yeah. But they need one more, so our alpha man Jack forces Wiley to play.
Willie.
Wiley.
Whatever. You're playing hockey today.
Great! Tuesday, right? No, I can't. I've got a dentist appointment. I was chewing on a cashew and cracked it. I'm supposed to rude.
You're playing.
No. You know, ow. No.
You're playing.
No.
He does play. I wonder if they let Seth Green improvise some lines, because some of them are they're just too on the nose. But yeah, so they start this game against the Preps. It's in an outdoor hockey rink, because we are fucking hockey crazed. An open air hockey rink, I should say. It's got a roof. There are a lot of people there for this game against the Preps. And this is when we first meet evil blonde Blaine, because like I said, everyone in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, had to be blonde if they're the villain. And during the game, after a nice hockey scrum, we get Blaine delivering what may possibly be my favorite line and yours from the movie.
Someone got lucky, huh? You think so, Blaine? Yeah, but that's a bunch of low-life losers. Yeah, I think so. I just worry about your self-esteem, always losing. Yeah, but you sort of get used to it, eh, Blaine? You want to talk, or you want to play hockey? First 1 to 3 wins, Blaine.
Wow, fucking Blaine. What a voice. His pipsqueak friend is played by rollerblading legend Chris Edwards, who later in the movie kind of plays his character as if he has some kind of mental disability. It gets a little much.
Chris Edwards, also the Forrest Lasso of rollerblading.
Is he?
Yeah, he was a very, very Christian skater.
I did not realize that. Christian rollerbladers just make sense, though. Satan is more on the skateboards. If we're
it is true. The Arlo Eisenbergs are the standouts, the wild child rollerbladers. But
Did you just pick him because he's obviously Jewish? That's pretty messed up. Yeah. Mitchell's watching from the stands and strikes up a conversation with Nikki, who will be his love interest in the movie. Mitchell explains why he's so anti-violence and explains his peaceful mindset in this classic monologue.
I once knew this real badass who was always fighting over waves. Anyone ever came near a wave he was on, he'd go berserk, Looney Tunes, he'd fight him right there. Didn't matter how big the guy was, he didn't care. Real head case. Anyway,
like the bird sound effects.
One day he comes across this kid on a boogie board who has the nerve to be on his wave. So he says to himself, hey, I'm gonna teach this kid a lesson. Scare him. So he surfs on over to him, only he gets too close. And the skags on the board slice into the kid's head. There's blood everywhere. Kid nearly drowned.
Is he all right?
Yeah, only he's got this scar on the side of his head.
Well, what happened to the surfer?
He's living in Cincinnati.
Shit. It's Mitchell. He used to be a badass, I guess, even though he's pretty young. I must admit, full disclosure, when I was young, I was not sure which person he was talking about. I often thought he was the little kid.
Well, when he first told the story, I did expect him to show the scar.
Yeah. But yeah, so we learned Mitchell's a recovering hard ass, which is, if you've seen the movie, is pretty hard to believe based on his frailness. Anyways, of course, Wiley gets hurt while playing, and they make Mitchell come into the game. Mitchell inadvertently scores a goal for the Preps, cementing his disdain. He scores in the wrong goal. His disdain by the hockey players, and in particular Jack, who proceeds to tackle Mitchell while still on the ice, concussing him and leaving him unconscious for what appears to be hours.
I remember Snake standing over him and flashing his knife and yelling something in Spanish.
Just really playing it up.
Terrifying.
It's obvious Mitchell's never played hockey. So I don't understand how they're so mad at him. They forced him to play in the game. It's like if you beg someone to play in your co-ed indoor league and they tell you they suck and they're terrible and then they suck, you can't like scream at them. And I was going to say his shot was actually not bad. It was just on the wrong goal. And nobody seems to care about concussions back then. It'll be a different movie now. Mitchell's probably got CTE as we speak. Anyways, they go home, and Wiley's parents are pretty stoked to learn that their little boy and their nephew were playing hockey because, remember, Cincinnati's Hockey Town, USA.
Hey, little Wiley plays hockey. Did you hear that, Louie?
Nice on the hockey players. Hey, Mitchell, did I ever show you my Zamboni Driver of the Year award?
Not now, Dad, okay?
Hockey.
Remember, we're in Cincinnati. So over the course of the next few weeks, Mitchell and Wiley are harassed relentlessly with lots of pranks. Zach, do any of the pranks stand out? Well,
yeah.
The notable one is the toilet paper.
There was toilet paper. They dumped water on all the toilet paper while they're dumping. I think they filled his locker full of sand. That one's pretty good.
Which would be pretty difficult to pull off, honestly.
Wiley got super glued
yes, he
to
did.
the locker by his fingertips.
They show him showering alone in the gym showers. The whole school feels really empty at all times, but yeah, he's showering by himself, and they steal his clothes. But yeah, the shitting one, the toilet paper's hanging from these chains by the front of the door, which seem like it'd be hard to reach when you're shitting. And
yeah,
then
they did have those when I was in high school.
Well,
that's real.
Is he walking really weird because he wiped with wet toilet paper, or because he didn't wipe at all?
When I watched it, I remember thinking he didn't wipe at all and thinking to myself, I'm going to just wipe with wet toilet paper.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
If that's true and he's walking with shit in his pants, that's pretty weird. So Mitchell's at an all-time low. His aunt thinks he's going to commit suicide, but he's just down.
He thinks he has at one point when he's just asleep or taking a nap or something.
Luckily, his rollerblades show up in the mail.
Oh, I nearly forgot. We got a card from your folks. Your dad came down with poison oak, and you got a big package. I put it on your bed. What is it?
Something I should have never forgotten.
Woo! Yeah, and he cuts fucking loose. If you hear those sweet sounds, I should mention the music was done by Stuart Copeland, drummer of the Police, and while it is kind of lame, it's a fucking A+ soundtrack. Faux show. While he's rollerblading, he runs into Nikki. Yes, the Nikki from the hockey game, and they hit up Crone Conservatory, and Mitchell fucking tears it up.
Yeah, best result. It's too perfect.
Too perfect.
You're gonna get us kicked out of here.
Mitchell doesn't give a shit. Zach, what are your memories of the the Crone Conservatory?
Yeah,
scene?
my memories are, man, I'm gonna go skate there sometime. And then I also remember the middle-aged white lady who gives him the come here finger at the end. And I'm just like, what a fucking fun ruiner she is.
I need to talk to you. And then Mitchell, not being a badass, just kind of like starts skating over to her. Like, okay, I guess I'll talk to you. But yeah, so after that, Nikki and Mitchell make plans for a date after he finishes his sweet sesh at Crone.
I had a really good time today.
Maybe we could do this again.
I know this great restaurant. Good food, lots of people.
Lots of people.
We can have a good time.
I hate when people are at
Sounds good
restaurants.
to me. How about Friday?
Okay.
I was supposed to go out on the town with Wiley Friday night.
We'll bring him along.
I don't know if he can find a day in town.
I could bring a friend.
Nice.
Cool. I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
If you don't get aroused every time he says Cincinnati, you better check your pulse.
Yeah, at that point, he turns his head upside down to look at the conservatory and see that it makes a heart.
A truly magical moment. But yeah, her date sounds whack to me. Oh, tons of people at this restaurant. Man, I want elbow room. Space to breathe. What is there going to be a wait too? Once Nikki leaves, there is an all-time great, there's not a lot to pick from, all-time great inline skating montage with Mitchell tearing up the city, including under some bridges in what looks like Covington. And it's got some of the best music you've ever heard.
The lead comes in right there. It's pretty good.
Just look up the whole thing. It's hard to skip over, but there's not much to say. It's just a freaking badass inline montage.
Is that the montage where
the kids pump their fists?
Yeah, well, they just keep joining him.
Yeah, he's like the Forrest Gump run, except with rollerblades and more kids. Just
rollerbladers join, skateboarders. There's one guy on a BMX, which he has trouble following, I think, up some of the stairs. Yeah, that's fucking badass scene.
Yeah, and then there's this really tall stairwell that Mitchell starts going down, and this kid on the BMX up at the top does like a really noteworthy fist bump at the top, which I can't really describe, but just, the scene's on YouTube. Go ahead and check it out right now. Mitchell and Wiley prepare for date night, with Wiley doing an outfit change montage set to I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. It's one of the most 90s moments in the movie, filled with 90s moments.
You are not my cousin. Oh, come on, I give up.
I think in the budget for this movie, they probably had money for one song license, and they went with Right Said Fred.
Solid choice. But yeah, the dates go well enough, the double date. Wiley's, really giving it a go. And then one of my favorite lines Wiley delivers while they're at the dinner table.
This place is my favorite. I practically live here. They're gonna set me up a cot in the back in case I want to sleep over or something.
That's funny. I've never seen you around here before.
I come in on Tuesdays.
Really?
Yeah, I sit in the back with the owner. I come in very late. Very late.
What a weird thing to brag about. So everything's going hunky-dory. Then during the double date with his cousin and Nikki's friend Gloria, Blaine, who used to date Nikki, appears and physically confronts Mitchell and Nikki.
Hey, gang, you guys don't mind if Walt and I join you, do you?
Fuck.
I understand what you're saying, bro. Thanks for the kind words and goodbye.
Oh, shit.
You guys do something.
Why don't you just leave us alone, huh?
You hear that music?
What do you say we get out of here?
Good idea. Learn it last.
He grabs Gloria.
Ow, let go of me, Blaine.
Come on, man. Be
tries
cool.
to dance
There's
with her.
no reason to start anything.
Shut up, would you? I'm dancing with Gloria.
Oh, thank you. Look, just leave her alone, all right? Come on. Why don't you just back off, huh? Leave her alone, dude.
I beg your pardon?
You heard me, pal.
Oh, what did you say, stickhead?
You heard me, Blaine.
I think I'm gonna have to hurt you.
Ooh, right in his chest. Blaine! Oh, now it's weird. There's a lot to say. I was like, how fucked up is Nikki for having dated a legit psychopath like Blaine? Blaine basically gropes Gloria, tosses Wiley like a rag doll. Zach, any thoughts on Blaine, who does so many things that are even extra more inappropriate in today's society?
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about it? I'm not surprised at Nikki. I don't know what their house is like, Nikki and Jack's, but Jack's got some problems too.
That's
I think
true.
it probably stems from their father.
Blaine was definitely beaten as a child.
Yeah, you know how these things go.
Yeah, but Blaine's already like smashed a glass, and but luckily, because Mitchell's a pacifist, they're only saved when Jack arrives to stand up for Nikki, who, as it turns out, like I said, is also Jack's sister. Whoa, plot twist! Nikki and Jack related. That's not gonna go over well. Jack attempts to take Nikki home, but Mitchell says it's all good. But Jack tries to make Mitchell fight him by making fun of his relationship with Nikki, but Mitchell doesn't fight back and claims that despite all the torture Jack and his friends put on him and Wiley, he will never fight back.
Well, I hate to ruin your fun, but I'm not gonna fight you, Jack. I'm not.
He's afraid, Jack.
He's not afraid of anything.
Nah.
Because I could give two left testicles about you, your school, or your hockey game. I'm out of here in 3 months. 3 months. You think I'm gonna waste my time on you or anyone else? You ain't worth it, brah. No one here is. No one.
That stings for Nikki there.
That really does. Though Mitchell's claim stops Jack from attempting to fight him, it greatly disappoints both Nikki and Wiley. Nikki because Mitchell claims that he'll be glad when he goes back home, and Wiley because he thinks Mitchell should have done something.
What'd you want me to do? Fight them all, be a hero? Yeah, do something, man. It would have been better than just walking away. You didn't do anything. What would it have solved? Nothing. I know, because I used to think it did. What about Nikki?
He was a badass, remember?
You just let her go. Let her go? She walked away from me. Besides, you didn't even tell me she was Jack's sister. I didn't know. It doesn't matter, man.
How'd you not know?
What's the point? I'm out of here in a few months.
Well, no one talks to Wiley. He's a fucking loser. He
That's
doesn't
true.
know anything.
Maybe that's true. Gloria did give Wiley a kiss for standing up for her. So, things weren't all bad. I would say I'm Team Jack on this one at the moment because Mitchell comes off kind of like a bitch, and honestly, Blaine was looking like a straight rapist. So, also, when Jack shows up, Blaine leaves like, this isn't over. And he also throws a chair against the wall, and there's a waitress who's just at the counter just continuing to scrub the counter. Lady, this fucking place just blew the fuck up. Mitchell pretty much fucked it up with everyone. He tries to talk with Nikki, doesn't go.
Nikki, I need to speak to you.
Don't bother, okay? Doesn't matter.
You never gave me a chance to explain.
I know you're leaving in a few months, so it's not worth the hassle.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah, well, don't bother. Because you know something, you're right. It's not worth the hassle.
Also, what a fucking jam. Classic 90s jam. I have no idea what it is, but it just feels like 10 million other songs. All the issues Mitchell's experience culminates with a dream Mitchell wakes to, which convinces him to peacefully confront the situation. You gotta listen to your dreams. They're the window into your consciousness or something.
The point is, when you got a perfect wave, a perfect anything, you go for it. You don't worry about what the shark has stuffed up his butt. What does that mean, you're gonna fight Jack? And have Gandhi roll over in his grave? I don't think so. Besides, you don't have to fight the shark to fight for the wave.
There was I think a talking shark named Peppy in his dream. That's who he's referring to there.
Not shown. He just talks about him. Luckily, there was not a CGI shark to take this movie really to the next level. So Mitchell's big plan, he decides to proactively join Jack and his ice hockey brethren for a street hockey game against the Preps. It appears Cincinnati fucking loves hockey. Remember that, folks. There's a pickup street hockey game with 75 random people watching. What a world. Nikki's at the game, chilling on the hood of a car, and Mitchell tries to talk to her once more.
Can we talk?
No.
Then what's a good time?
After the game.
Then. After the game.
Because he knows he's about to pull off some shit. They let Mitchell play because they think he'll suck and they can make fun of him. But also, now Mitchell's super good at hockey. Bad news. I guess it's all because of rollerblades. He scores a sweet goal, and afterwards, Blaine, because he just can't handle a goal, tackles him, bloodies up his lip, and everyone tries to get Mitchell to go after him.
Pop him in the jaw. Come on, man. Get him, man. Come on. Let's go. Come on.
Just punch him, man. We're here.
Punch him, man.
Come on, punch me. Let's do it. Come on. Come on, you little wimp.
Even he wants you to punch him.
Joy. You think he's gonna cry, Blake? Come on. Hit me.
Oh, no. Because he's got other plans up his sleeves. He doesn't fight back against Blaine, but he embarrasses him by pulling down his pants. Classic. Blaine is wearing sweatpants, a jockstrap, and apparently no underwear, exposing his ass. Even the preps are laughing at Blaine. They talk about his skid marks, but really they're just that strap.
They say chunky stain Blaine or something like that, but this is a bare butt.
Yeah, just because he was pantsed, everyone just has the courage to just go up to his face and talk shit. So then, at home, Snake, Augie, and I only know this because of Wikipedia. I wouldn't have known their names. The Banducci twins and the rest of the hockey team, with the notable exception of Jack, show up at Wiley's house to tell him they're sorry for everything and that they think he's great. All it took for these guys to like Mitchell was for him to de-pants Blaine and score a goal. That is literally all he did. Scored one goal in a street hockey game. But as we know, that's not the only reason they came.
And that was some big skate today, Mitchell, man. You were all right. Man, I never laughed so hard in all my life, man.
Well, I guess we just figured you all wrong. Shoot, man, I'm really sorry.
Hey, it's all right. So don't worry about it.
Yeah? All right, cool,
man.
Hey, man, check it out, man. This is the story.
Snake.
Been challenged by the preps to
The
a little
gang
skating
member.
race. We're gonna settle this thing once and for all. You know, and I wanted... We thought maybe you'd, want to come and skate in our team. Help us out. So what do you say?
Where's the race?
Uh-oh.
Devil's Backbone.
They picked the perfect person to deliver that line.
We'd have a better chance if you were with us.
What's Devil's Backbone?
Oh, yeah, it's only the most dangerous hill in the whole town. Geez, the last guy who even tried to walk down that hill, he just got so messed up, he forgot who he was. I saw him.
Forgot?
Pins in his head and his...
Well, anyway, it's a bunch of hills, Mitchell. It's pretty dangerous stuff.
Then why do this?
Because we're tired of being put down.
Treated like low-life trash. Losers!
Man, we're somebody. This is our chance to prove it. But we can only do it as a team. So what do you say, man? You in or what?
Yeah, he was fucking in. But also, these guys are kind of the bullies. So they're their whole theme seems kind of misguided. We're tired of getting put down. Like, dude, you literally tortured Mitchell for at least a month. But, that's neither here nor there, I guess.
I'll tell you. So, Devil's Backbone, I don't want to get too far ahead, but it turns out to be a series of random hills around the city and in Covington. No relation to each other. Yeah, if you actually know the locations, it's kind of wild to see them come down one hill, and then the next thing you know, they're in a parking garage across the river. It'd be fucking badass if it was real.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you haven't seen the Devil's Backbone race scene, why are you listening? Watch it right now. Pull it up on YouTube. It's perfect. Shouts to whoever did the sound design, because that is also magical. It's agreed upon that the first team, with 3 members crossing the line between the preps and the non-preps, will be deemed the winner for all the glory. But the rules are, according to Blaine, there are no rules. Before I get to some of my favorite parts, let me give you some of that fucking sick sound design. One of those was a dude flying through a fucking barn fence.
Flying through a barn fence. They're skidding off the road, flying off cliffs. You don't know what's going on.
Some of the main takeaways from the race are that Snake is fucking amazing. He's in first place basically the entire time with this serene look on his face. He's the real meditation Maharishi. Great moment. Everyone's sliding under a semi-truck, causing accidents. One guy gets hit by a car. They never check up on him. I did notice in rewatching it a few times they make no effort to hide the stunt doubles. There's one scene where they're trying to pull Mitchell ahead, the 2 twins for the Cyclones jerseys, and boy, these stunt doubles look nothing like the twins, and they're definitely not twins. But it didn't take me out of the moment.
The
Zach-
twins kind
yeah,
of
go
look like a Degrassi era Drake. So I was,
yeah. The stunt doubles look like Jack, basically. What are some places? There's a couple obvious ones I noticed, but are there any places on Devil's Backbone that you were able to that you can pick out?
I haven't rewatched it, so I can't even remember.
The obvious one, and if you were to pick a hill in Cincinnati proper, Ravine in Clifton, they go down that.
Yeah, Ravine. Shout out to myself. I used to ride my bike up Ravine every single day after work.
The steep one. One continuous shot. They go all the way down Ravine, and then they cut a right. And I think they do use the turn in the movie. I'm pretty sure.
Onto Central there?
I think so. I'm not positive. And then they cross a famous walkway towards where now Jack Casino is.
Yeah, it's over 71 there.
And they head towards Old Riverfront Stadium. Snake is in the lead with 2 preps. I should mention the preps have the solid gear because they're the preps. New, nice windbreakers, fancy glasses to keep the bugs out of their face.
Yeah, doesn't Snake, I remember, didn't he look like an old-timey pilot? Or am I thinking of...
Wiley. He kind of... Snake does kind of have piloty goggles compared to the preps. But yeah, Wiley's wearing a leather helmet and pilot goggles.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm thinking of.
That's
Sorry.
what his pops had lying around. He's wearing a Superman shirt. He looks just like an all-around idiot. Anyways, an aggressive and athletic Snake reaches the finish line first for Mitchell's team, but 2 preps swiftly follow suit. I should mention Blaine is going head-to-head with Jack, of course, the 2 big alphas. But Mitchell's catching up. Blaine knocks over Jack, and then he's right next to Mitchell. And instead of just going for the win, Blaine decides to barrel into Mitchell, but poorly times his attack and instead lands in the Ohio River. Whoops! So Blaine probably died. It's not easy to swim in the Ohio River. And,
not with skates on.
Yeah, and it's fall weather, so there's a good chance Blaine is dead, and they just skip over that. That leaves Jack and Mitchell in clear sight of the finish line.
Oh, sorry.
World Cup still going on.
Lewandowski blew it.
Poland almost had a chance. They approach in tandem victory to the cheers of their awaiting schoolmates and kisses of respective love interests. This is Wikipedia time. Mitchell has finally earned the respect of Jack and his friends, and he's lifted onto the shoulders of a cheering crowd as the movie ends. Yeah, that's it. That's the end. So we're left with a few questions. I'll pose them to you. Zach, did Blaine die?
Yeah, I think so. You'd have to go in after him pretty soon, and no one was going to do that.
There's also a shitload of people for this pickup downhill race. Yeah. Again, not only are they hockey crazy, they're downhill inline crazy. Do Nikki and Mitchell stay together?
I mean, I think if they did an Airborne 2, in real life, I don't think this would happen, but I think Mitchell would relocate, and that would be the story.
A good fan fiction would be Airborne 2. Fucking Jack comes to California.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
And has to learn how to surf. And shows him how to fucking get it done Midwest style, all while wearing a sleeveless flannel. God, you're due to rewatch it now. If you're not hyped, I don't know what to tell you. Let's talk about a little bit of trivia in the movie. Brittany Powell, who plays the wholesome strawberry blonde with bangs, Nikki, would go on to appear nude in several later films. Shane McDermott.
Patty, that's a tip for you. Go ahead and check those out.
Patty Barrett, give that a like on Twitter, according to whoever said that. Shane McDermott, who played Mitchell Goosen, would go on to become a realtor in Galveston, Texas, and did not appear in another film. And like I said, or like I will say, once you've made the Citizen Kane of rollerblading movies, where do you go from there? There's only down. And while researching that, I learned via TMZ he was arrested in 2017 for a drunk altercation in a Texas bar. That doesn't sound like Mitchell Goosen. That sounds like all Shane McDermott. So now you know he really was method acting.
But you know, he's pretty stoked that his arrest made it to TMZ.
Yeah, it was like, me?
Still?
Well, Shane.
Hell yeah.
Shane also, I mean, there shouldn't be any doubt, has a thick head of hair. Zach, let's talk just briefly about your rollerblading history and what rollerblading meant to you in the 90s. How important was it?
Yeah, I did a lot of it. And
Little Sawyer Point.
Little Sawyer Point, a lot around the neighborhood. There was actually a kid...
Grind plates.
Yeah, grind plates for sure. Saw the break off. Rollerblade Lightnings, Lightning TRS. Those were the go-to skates. Yeah, there was a kid whose dad worked on the construction on the movie. So he actually had some of the ramps from the movie in his backyard.
Wow.
And I had friends who skated on them, and I was never able to. Say what you want about rollerblading, but if you were in the early 90s, I don't care. You had to do it.
Yeah, and if you weren't, you were the loser at the time. Yeah, there was the early X Games was a great period. Like we mentioned before, Arlo Eisenberg, another rollerblading hero. Are there any other non-Arlo Chris Edwards rollerbladers that you can remember? Because I'm drawing a blank.
No, I can't think of any.
But they were household names for a little bit, like Downhill Loser, Biker Sherlock.
Yeah. Joan actually named his second son after Arlo Eisenberg. I mean, everyone knows the BMX guys from there, but definitely Chris Edwards and Arlo Eisenberg from rollerblading.
I get why rollerblading is lame, but that's pretty fun. Less thinking, you could just get on and kind of fucking glide around. No shame. I mean, there's lots of shame, but there's no shame.
Yeah, and I can see how, everyone got shamed out of aggressive inlining, but I do think it's a little weird that as an exercise tool, that's gone by the wayside also. If you go to the bike trail, you don't really see many spandexed women rollerblading anymore.
Maybe in South Beach or something.
Maybe, but really not much. Yeah, being pulled by a dog or something like that.
But yeah, so this was the jumping off spot for a lot of, two well-known actors, Jack Black and Seth Green, making star turns. And Jack ends up being, if you look up the guy who played Jack, he's in a lot of other movies. And a few of these faces you see later on in films.
Yeah, well, I think the two known actors and actresses were Wiley's parents. And I don't know their names.
They did look familiar.
You've seen that before. That mom has definitely been in something.
Yeah, playing a mom.
Yeah.
We're getting towards the end here. I just want to mention it's in the pantheon of movies filmed in Cincinnati. Some other classic ones. I'm not going to count as many of the new ones because now there's a lot of straight-to-DVD ones. But at the time, you had your Rain Man, Little Man Tate, Milk Money, Traffic, recently Carol, and Ides of March with George Clooney. Little Man Tate, Milk Money, and Airborne. Those are the trifecta of Cincinnati movies in my mind when I think of them. That was like from a time period where I guess Cincinnati was really just like trying to get in the game. And those 90s movies, Milk Money, Little Man Tate, and Airborne, they just have a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, and Milk Money especially. I remember I was in junior high, or maybe I was a freshman in high school. I had a lot of friends got to be extras in Milk Money. Yeah, the rest of them, Traffic, Eyes of March too. It was like, yeah, it's cool to see locations, but it just wasn't the same. One story about the Gotti movie with John Travolta. They were filming that at Junkers in Northside, which is kind of a dingy shithole bar. And I lived at the time, which was last year, directly across the street from it. So they're out there filming. There's all these like 70s cabs in the street and stuff like that. People are lining the streets trying to get a glimpse of John Travolta. I'm standing up in my apartment window just peeking out and see what's going on. And there's some guy out there. He starts yelling at me like, "Can I get on your roof?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Can I get on your roof?" So I think he's getting up there to get a better look, take a picture, whatever. So I give him the finger and yell at him to go fuck himself. Turns out he was there to check on my roof.
It's unrelated to the movie.
It's completely unrelated. So my bad.
Hey man, if you're listening, and I know you are, no harm, no foul, right, buddy? But yeah, so this should go without saying, but if you haven't seen Airborne and you listen to this podcast, like what the fuck, dude? You can find it. I think there's some bootleg ones on YouTube right now. Give it a watch. It's worth all your time. Take a break from the bore fest that is this World Cup,
This World Cup is amazing, though. And you know how, if any of you soccer players, you watch a World Cup and then you want to go kick the ball around with your friends. You put on Airborne, you get fucking amped to go put on your rollerblades and go skate. And that's what me and my friends used to always do. We'd put this movie on and then we're like, let's fucking go.
If any of you guys listeners want to start a rollerblading club, unironically, we'll have power and safety in numbers. So, one or two of us will probably get jumped, but like if we can get up to like a baker's dozen, but pretty solid crew, and we could find used ones too. So let's just I'm throwing it out there, okay? The KLR rollerblade crew. Let's get it started. Let's sweat together in those boots because we know those things will fucking stank in the summer. Zach, any final thoughts on Airborne?
No, it's a fucking classic. I've a good friend Sonia lives in California. That was like our movie because Cincinnati and California. Yeah, I fucking love it.
Yeah, World Cup. It's going good, entertaining. We'll have another podcast. We got a game Wednesday and I'm a game Saturday, so we'll have a double. Nick can give his greatest World Cup moment of all time again, and I'm sure it'll be from this World Cup because he'll be confused. So shout out to that. Yeah, Louisville tied, so fuck yeah, we're in first place forever. Louisville never, Airborne whenever, rise to go! Falcao, Columbia.
Last I read, he was in jail.
Falcao?
Yeah, I better Google that. I don't want to spread falsehoods, but I think...
Well, he's clearly not in jail. He just scored a goal. Rafa Marquez, he's indicted for money laundering for like cartels or some shit. But, awesome. He's out for now, so he's able to set some World Cup records. But yeah, Falcao just scored for Colombia, 2-0. So now you know when we're recording this. Cat's out of the bag. Rise together.